Memanto is a memory agent for AI. You write facts into it, you ask it questions in plain language, and it gives you back the relevant memories, typed, scored, and timestamped. The TypeScript SDK is a thin client. Here's the part people find surprising. You don't have to run a server. On your first call, the SDK picks a free port, spawns a local Memanto server for you, waits for it to come up healthy, creates your agent, and then opens a session. All of that is one new Memanto. And then when you're done, you call close, and the server gets shut down. That's the whole life cycle. One prerequisite, and it's the thing that people get tripped up on, so I'm saying it early. Memanto's server is Python, and this SDK launches it with UVX, so you need UV installed. The SDK will not install it for you. So here are the commands to install this. And if you're on Mac or Linux, you should use this command, but I'm on Windows, so I will be using this one. Okay, and then I'm just gonna check for the version. And if UVX dash dash version, this command here, prints something, you're good. And if you're not sure, the SDK ships a doctor. As you can see here, it's this command. As you can see, UVX available shows as true. And doctor just tells you whether UVX is reachable and it gives you a hint if it isn't. Now for the actual install. Okay, just give it a second. ESM and TSX, so I can run TypeScript files directly without a build step, Node 20 or newer. So one import, one constructor. Agent ID is the only required option. It's the namespace that your memories live in. So one agent per assistant or one per end user, depending on how you're modeling it. The API key comes from the environment. I'll show you the no API key path at the end. Remember, it takes content, and that's genuinely it. You can pass a type, a title, tags, a confidence, but if you don't, the server classifies it for you. Here are two facts about Alex. Recall is semantic search. Notice that I'm asking, what does Alex drink? Those exact words are nowhere in what I stored here. And that's the point. A quick note on the cast, the client's methods return unknown, so I declare the shape I want and cast. One line and you get full autocomplete after it. An answer is different from recall. Recall hands you the raw memories. Answer runs retrieval augmented generation over them and gives you a synthesized sentence back. So let's run this. Just give it a second. So there it is. It found the oat milk memory from a question that shares no keywords with it. It classified one as a preference and one as a fact on its own, and then it reasoned across both to tell me that the latte is a bad idea. It's just a small thing worth calling out. That first run took a couple of seconds longer because that's when the server got spawned. Every call after that is against a server that's already warm. Auto classification is fine, but when you know the type, say the type, because you can filter on it at read time. So here are the 13 types of memories. Preference is not a commitment, and decision is not an observation. And once they're tagged, you can ask for exactly one flavor. The function batch remember seen right here writes up to 100 memories at once instead of 100 round trips. And then recall recent newest first, no query needed. It's just filtered down to just preferences and decisions. So let's run this file. Just give it a second. The commitment fact and the health fact are still stored, they're just not what I asked for. This is how you keep an agent's working set small. Don't dump everything into the prompt, just pull the two types that matter for the task in front of you. Here's my favorite one, and it's the thing that a vector database alone won't give you. Memories have time. Recall as of asks what the agent knew at a certain point in the past, a date or an ISO timestamp. Recall change since asks the opposite, what's new or changed since then. That combination is what you need for catch me up on this account since last month, or for debugging an agent that made a strange call last week. You can reconstruct exactly what it knew at the moment it decided. So let's run this. It's almost done. Okay. So as you can see, it shows 6 memories for what the agent knew as of today, and 6 for change since today, August 13th, 2026. So far, I'm calling memory manually. That's not what you want in an agent. You want the model to decide when to look something up and when to write something down. So the SDK ships framework adapters. I'll just use the Versal AI SDK, even though a lot of these have the same tools such as recall memory, remember memory, and answer memory, each with a schema and description already written so the model knows when to reach for them. So as you can see here, create Memanto tools, Memanto, and hand the result straight to generate text. Stop when step count is 5, and gives it room to take a few tool steps instead of stopping after the first. And look at the prompt, it's doing two things at once. It asks a question that needs recall, and it drops a new fact that ought to get written down. I never say explicitly search memory or save this. If you want only read access, say you don't trust the model to write yet, you can pass include recall memory, and that's the only tool it gets. So let's run this. Two tool calls it can choose on its own. It read two tool calls it chose on its own. It read memory to answer, and it wrote memory to record the change. That's an agent with a memory, not an agent with a long prompt. And so to prove persistence, So different process, brand new run, and the soy milk update is there. Nothing was held in a variable. It's on disk. Last method, and it's the one that saves the most work. You usually don't have neat facts. You have a conversation, and somewhere in it is something worth keeping. Extract memories takes chat turns and pulls out typed memory candidates. Dry run equals true means it shows you what it would store without storing it, which is exactly what you want the first time you wire this up and what you want behind a review before saving screen in production. Let's run this. So, two candidates out of three casual sentences, each already typed. Flip dry run off and the written. That's your end of conversation hook in one call. Two things to close out on. So, first, everything that I did used a hosted API key, but you don't have to use it. Run UVX Memanto, pick the on prem backend when it asks, and it writes a config to your home directory. After that, just drop the API key entirely, just new Memanto agent ID, and nothing else. The spawn server picks up the on prem config entirely on its own. You'll need Docker for that one on top of UV. As you can see here, my backend is set to cloud, but if you want, you can always set it to on-prem if you want. Second, call close. It shuts the spawned server down. It also happens automatically when the node process exits, but in a long-running service, be deliberate about it. So that's the SDK. Remember, recall, answer, temporal reads, and drop-in tools for 4 agent frameworks. Remember, install is npm install at murche-ai/memento. The repo is linked below. A star genuinely helps. If there's a framework that you want covered properly, say which one in the comments and I'll help build that video next. Thanks for watching!